NGA represents from the biggest international oil companies in the world to the smallest individual entrepreneur in Nigeria. That's how vast our membership is.
What we've done is to create fiscal terms that makes the gas profitable in its own right through incentives, through picking it out as a liquid and commodity of its own right. So that's the first thing. Secondly, that it will then incentivize the development of infrastructure, because the greatest bane to development of gas in Nigeria has been infrastructure. The pipelines, the storage depots, the plants, and what the fiscal measures will do is to now create an incentive for you to be able to generate investments into the sector, independent of the oil sector investment. Then, of course, thirdly, we address the gas flare. Focusing on that, we're now reducing. So while the United Nations chose 2030 for gas flare exit, we chose 2020. So we're 10 years aggressive, and so far we're close to about 70% gone.
The national gas policy speaks a lot to creating a broader interface between the public and private sector partnerships, making a more active role for the private sector. This really needs to happen. The private sector has the resources. The private sector understands the project expediencies and risks.
Well, the policy has been good. So the policy has shifted from just export and revenue earning into expanding domestic consumption. And as a consequence of that, expanding the production of energy for the larger good of the economy.
The gas policy, of course, which was just recently passed by the Federal Executive Council, takes care of how does government come in, how does government propagate the commercialization of the gas. So the roles of government, roles of the players, and roles of the regulator are what are defined in the gas policy.
I think the clarity that the policy is beginning to give is allowing the players take a very active role.
The gas policy has been approved. Good work is now ongoing to pass a petroleum fiscal bill which will treat gas favorably and ensure a win-win situation both for the Nigerian government and for the investors and operators. I think that the opportunities to truly invest in all the aspects of the gas value chain is opening up.
All the areas, whether it's upstream, midstream, downstream, there are opportunities, there are room for growth, and of course the downstream always develop when you bring the gas, because gas itself brings market.
There are essentially 14 gas processing centers across the east and the west. These are essentially gas gathering centers and hubs where gas is aggregated and then processed and fed into the pipeline.
The entire gas value chain has significant growth opportunities. Chevron Nigeria continues to engage stakeholders in the gas sector to explore opportunities that exist in the gas value chain in order to foster economic development.
I'm proud to say that Chevron Nigeria Gas is the most credible gas distribution company in Nigeria. We've recently increased our distribution capacity by over 150%. And we are sort of positioned to grow the domestic gas distribution market.
NIPC was mandated to encourage, promote, and coordinate investments. NIPC is a policy advocacy agency, and NIPC's role is to work with government agencies and the private sector to make the Nigerian business environment conducive progressively, and to help government in the articulation of government policies, to to help the private sector understand government policies and to act, if you like, as the voice of the private sector in government.
We are open to outside investors. What we are saying is that if you have a technology or you have a know-how that we don't have capacity as a country, we try to encourage you to come and domicile that capacity in country. But with over time, try to domesticate it because we see the benefits to you and to us. A, it will reduce your costs. B, it will guarantee us security of supply. It will also ensure that you are leaving a stake in the country and that the country is part of your business.
Today we have 6 trains doing 22 million tons per annum. We were number 3, I believe, in the world until countries like Qatar, Australia, and even America is eating into the market share today. We want to go back to being in the top 3. And for me, that is nothing but Train 7. And when I say Train 7, I feel a sense of joy that it is possible. With Train 7, we will move from 22 million tons per annum to 30 million tons. And that puts us straight to number 3.
There's something about Nigeria, right? Once you can walk through the complexity of the country, there's just something about Nigeria in terms of the ability to grow business because the market is already there, it's internal, and you don't have that many places that can claim the same thing.
The whole concept of a free zone is to designate a geographical enclave where laws that are applicable in the customs territory are suspended. And the essence of suspending those laws is to create special incentives to attract foreign investments.
We believe in the NGA that a new dawn is dawning, it's upon us in the gas industry in Nigeria, and we want people to be aware of that and come to participate in the opportunities that are arising from it.